So the London Borough of Harrow's official motto, Salus Populi Suprema Lex, adorns civic buildings, litter bins, lampposts and street signs across 20 square miles over capital city's northwestern outskirts. Translated as, the well-being of the people is the highest law. Honestly, Masonic. Anyway, they just mock constantly. It supposedly reflects the noble spirit in which the council treats its 270,000 tax-paying residents. Look, they used to be more honest decades ago. They used to call them corporations. Those of us old enough to remember. The Greater Glasgow Corporation, was it? The Edinburgh Corporation, blah, blah, blah. And then so many people went, wait a minute, aren't they like businesses? Oh, councils. Rebranded. So that spirit was, however, in very short supply on May the 18th when two of Harrow's environmental enforcement officers confronted a local man named Alvin outside the Asian Pearl seafood shop on Northett Road. Alvin, a heating engineer on his way home from work, had intervened to comfort a teenage girl who had been collared by the duo for allegedly spitting at a bus stop. The girl, who seemed confused and tearful, was in the process of being slapped with £100 fine. Honestly, seriously. Alvin asked what concrete evidence the officers had to support the charge. When it emerged they actually had none, he advised the child to simply walk away. Good advice, by the way. Imagine, it's a child, for God's sake, here. But it gets better. There followed what the Daily Mail writer describes as a frank exchange of views. Wait till you see the video. The two officers, who wore gangster-style hoodie tops under their official vests, decided to deliberately turn off their body-worn cameras before inviting Alvin to step into a nearby alley. "We're going to make sure you can't work no more and earn no money," said one. "I swear, when I'm not in uniform, I'm going to knock you the fuck out and rip your teeth out. Do you know what? ? If I give you one punch, I'll knock all your teeth out." So the second officer interjected, "Don't butt into my business. We've got people to feed." Seriously. Oh, when you see the video. Then his colleague added, "If I call a police officer for you, he'll fuck you up, because we work with them. And you don't know You didn't know that, did you? So come across the road now, because I'm going to show you what time it is." Honestly. Now, you could think that was shit. Like some really poorly worded story, but no. So Alvin declined a request. I love the wording of that. Declined a request, and the aggressive duo. Sorry, I need a sip. Eventually backed off, but what they didn't know was the exchange had been caught on camera. For while Harrow's men on the street had switched off their official cameras in a cynical bid to destroy evidence of their thuggish behaviour, Alvin turned out to be wearing a pair of... Jesus. Sorry, my apologies for... a £200 pair of meta-sunk spectacles. Oh my God, honestly. Remember years ago when we were warning people about the Google glasses and all the rest of it for bloody good reason? But if you just sort of help merge it into a story and make it like, hey, why shouldn't everybody wear these things? It doesn't get much better than this, does it? Not that I'm a cynical guy. So these devices link to a smartphone, and are capable of recording video. Now remember, they're quite literally these bloody glasses fucking up your blood-brain barrier in real time. Not that any people by and large out there give a shit until they start getting a bit older. Yeah? And even then they haven't worked out how they did it themselves. Because, hey, somebody said this was cool and okay. Yeah? Data being shared takes, essentially microwaves. Yeah? As you're cooking your bloody brain slowly but bloody surely. Yeah, seriously. Anyway. My God. These devices link to a smartphone and are capable of recording video. When he began to feel threatened, he had turned it on. What do you think the Bourne Identity and all the rest of that pish was, and Bond and, Bond with a chip, Jason Bourne variation on the theme and blah, blah, blah. Anyway. So shortly afterwards, Alvin sent the video to Harrow Council as part of an official complaint, but in a response which speaks volumes for the local authorities' real attitude towards the well-being of the people, he heard absolutely nothing back. So last weekend he decided to upload a 1-minute clip to both X and TikTok. The clip went viral on X alone. It has been viewed 3 million times. I should find that clip. And this time, Harrow Council's reaction was instant. I've probably got it actually in my timeline. Within hours, the authority had put out a statement claiming that both men's behaviour had been wholly unacceptable, adding that their employment had, therefore, been terminated in May, immediately following the complaint. By Thursday, the Tory-run authority had announced the suspension of its lucrative contract with Kingdom Services, which is owned by, apparently, Terence. About Us. I covered this guy in the past. Yeah. About Us. The Kingdom story. Terry Barton. Or Company's House. Barton Terence. And he has quite a number of appointments. I'll leave you a link to it. I'm sure I covered them years ago. Channels that no longer exist. Even then, I'm like, look, Masonic contracts, and, well, we're being fleeced on a daily basis while masquerading as the righteous. And it's these private companies that are making out like bandits and making money for councils and whatever else. But it's definitely, ultimately, Masonic handshakes while destroying our lives slowly and surely over time. So, an outsourcing company from Merseyside which ran Harrow's team of environmental enforcement officers, shorthanded as EEOs, makes it all official. In a statement, council leader Paul Osborne added that both men had been reported to the police. Well, about bloody time. Because they should have been charged on the bloody spot. That is unlikely to silence critics, however, for the menacing behaviour of these uniformed thugs, who the Daily Mail have identified as blah 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 and blah blah blah. Lays bare a wider scandal unfolding not just in Harrow but across the land. At its centre is an important fact. This London borough is one of scores of local authorities which have in recent years hired companies such as Kingdom to run teams of EEOs. And even in relation to Kingdom, I'll leave you a link to their site. They've lost one council contract, if that's the case. But, seriously, they're apparently grossing about 300 million a year, is what they're apparently grossing. 11,000 employees. Yeah. 300 million a year in revenue. Seriously. Out of masquerading as the righteous. And they're all about diversity. All about, communities and, seriously. Making out like bandits. And the net result is horrible. Remember, these people are making untold millions rearranging how life was. People in the past, you dropped a sweetie, but hey, listen, pal, pick it up, blah, blah, whatever. Oh, look, you be rogue, blah, blah, blah. To people pouring coffee down Sivers, like just side of the road grills where where rain goes into, and they're getting fined. I covered that years ago. Oh, you dropped a sweet. A mother out with her child. Child drops a hanky. Oh, sorry. So such workers who have no formal qualifications are then sent out on daily foot patrols to catch people carrying out low-level offences such as littering and spitting, and in some cases they also seek out drivers committing parking offences. Where does this all come? Where does their powers, because it's all about bloody witchcraft, because it is about spellcasting, that the population at large believes any of this, that they have to somehow, interact with this on a day-to-day. I'm all for keeping places clean and tidy and all the rest of it. Funnily enough, when you start addressing crime, most of that goes away. Yeah? Historically, that's always been the case. You want to destroy any nation, you start putting... Honestly, you look at the last 100 years, especially graffiti, you start destroying areas, you incite X, Y, and Z, you fuck about with X, and then you destroy people's ability to even embrace what they've got, and it just goes into despair, and then ultimately at some point a despotism. So culprits are then hit with on-the-spot fines of up to £500. Think about this, under the Environmental Protection Act of 1990. On paper, these workers, who are widely nicknamed the Fake Fuzz, are supposed to protect high streets from the blight of litter and antisocial behaviour, in other words, to serve the public. And an awful lot of that, when you look in recent history, is the equivalent of glaziers paying some local cheeky whatever to go put a brick through one or two windows. So you create the problem and then make it so whatever that you bring in, the councils can't deal with it themselves, police can't, But ultimately, historically, it always goes to, well, actually, when you sort out most crime, all that disappears. You start educating people right about treating each other and all the rest, just having a modicum of respect and appreciation of the general area that they live in. You only need to go back a few decades, up until that point. Seriously. In practice, many go about their business with a zeal and sense of entitlement that resembles the former East German Stasi secret police. They slap draconian fines on citizens. I'd rather call people. Citizens, look at the definition of that. Who have committed very minor indiscretions or in some cases done nothing wrong at all. On Thursday, to cite one of the several high-profile recent examples, a Jobsworth employed by Gedling Borough Council. Gedling Borough? Yeah, okay, I'll go with that. In Nottinghamshire, gave a £150 ticket to a 42-year-old woman who'd left a single kale leaf in a trolley while loading groceries into her vehicle outside Sainsbury's. And there's another thing. Where does all this stuff about private areas of land and tickets, and imagine there is one amongst many aspects of why I'm glad to be in Scotland. It has its problems, be assured of that. It's still run by occultists who are as equally and if not more appalling than a lot of what you see there. But there is very different laws and certain aspects that one should appreciate more. So, think about that. For having a single kale leaf in a trolley while loading groceries in our vehicle. on any company that interacts with them, stop dealing with that company. If Sainsbury's has anything to do with this, sorry, Sainsbury's, you can go fuck yourself. And any other bloody company like that. And if people started making more effort in that regard, this would stop. Be assured of this. Last week, a woman in the London borough of Ealing was fined £150 for tossing a small piece of bread to a pigeon, while a man in Poole, think about that as well, man in Poole in Dorset was issued with £200, a £200 fine when a biodegradable tea bag from a McDonald's cup accidentally dropped out of his pocket in the car, out of the pocket in his car door. To understand these incidents and the thuggery which passed for public service in Harrow, we simply have to follow the money. Councils and the outsourcing firms they work with have discovered that sending out the fake fuzz goons can be lucrative, and that's been the case for years. Covered it years ago. Not only are the cheap-to-hire positions being advertised in 3 London boroughs, pay £14 to £16 an hour, but the fines such employees then hand out can generate huge amounts of cash. Last year, to this end, think about this. Oh dear, seriously. British councils issued a record, are you sitting down? 200,000 littering fines, bringing in £48 million, and I would argue the rest. Crucially, the 78 out of 382 councils that used private companies to run enforcement teams issued an average of 1,441 tickets each, while the figure was a mere 117 for those who didn't. Think about that. Is that not like, at least, funnily enough, 13 times as much? Mm-hmm. And 382 private companies in England. What, England and Wales, or just England alone? Think about this. Many outsourcing deals are designed to maximise this discrepancy, with a portion of the revenues from fines passed directly on to the outsourcing firms. It's just, honestly, lodges, and more lodges. Seriously. Meanwhile, the officers can be incentivised via bonus schemes. The Daily Mail has found, has been told that Kingdom staff are given a target to each issue 1 ticket per hour or 8 per shift. That would generate roughly £1,200 in revenue, about 10 times each officer's wage. And remember, you can employ whoever for your website, for your PR, inclusive, well-being. Oh, we're just the best. We just love. That's what we are. A lot of 33s, you'll notice. Yeah, a lot of 33s. Yeah. I'll leave you a link to them. Seriously. 5,000 locations. 2,300 customers. I bet you, honestly, most of them are councils. Pretty much. Or corporations, but. Or maybe supermarkets. Maybe a lot of that. But all this nonsense has to stop, because none of this is getting better. So, an undercover BBC Panorama investigation in 2017 found that they were offered bonuses for exceeding the target, which raised fears that the system is being abused, with disreputable officers choosing to harass vulnerable people over frivolous and, in some cases, fictitious offences. Harrow Council is a case in point, for the Daily Mail has established that its fake fuzz patrols have been at the centre of controversy for months. This has led to a series of confrontations, with victims claiming that overzealous Kingdom staff have been acting like gangsters. Kingdom's employees are also accused of inflaming racial tensions, with one community leader accusing Fernandez and Sadiq, who is Muslim, of deliberately targeting the Hindu and Sikh community with spurious fines. It's not as if the council wasn't warned. In January of 2025, the BBC raised concerns over Harrow's environmental enforcement teams. It revealed that an officer employed by a different firm, APCOA, had issued a fixed penalty notice to a local resident claiming she had been witnessed by a uniformed officer committing the offence of fly tipping. There was one problem. The resident was a 5-year-old girl. What's more, she had not actually been witnessing. She had not actually been witnessed fly tipping. A 5-year-old, remember. Seriously. We really have got to stop all this Masonic contract pesh and the agenda merchants within various interconnected occult societies. They are quite literally sucking the soul out of Western nations while fronting people who despise us. Fronted by people who despise us. Seriously.
Don't call me broski, I'm not your broski.
Alright, what's your name then? What's your ID? What's your name?
Don't worry about my name.
You're in uniform, you're working. What's your ID, bro?
Don't call me a...
Where's your ID?
Call me a...
Where's your ID? Where's your ID? Why are you getting aggressive for? Why are you getting aggressive for, bro?
What do you mean, what again?
You're in uniform, bro. You're in uniform.
Don't come in my business.
This is a brother that works for you, yeah?
Don't call me my brother.
Where's your ID? Where's your ID, man?
Pat on the floor.
Where's your ID?
Coming in my way.
Where's your ID?
What's wrong with you?
Where's your ID?
What's wrong with the camera on this for?
Yeah, go for it, man. Go for it.
Why you...
Look at the eyes. Seriously, they're thugs. Absolute thugs. Mind you, you're not looking for high IQ individuals for this kind of shit, are you?
Obstructing for what's your
How
problem?
can I
Are we
obstruct?
coming to your job, to your builder's
How
job?
did I obstruct
Are we
you?
coming to your builder's job and stopping you getting money now?
Don't put the thing on my face.
Don't say Allah's name.
Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
Don't call this
Go for it. Go for it.
Call me a...
And when I asked you something, yeah, apologies, man. And when I asked you, said, do you work for the council? What did you say?
What did I say?
What did you say? Or did I say, do you work for a third party? What did you say?
What did I say?
What did you say?
What did I say?
So answer it then. Answer it then.
You're calling me a... What does Allah say about littering? Tell me, huh?
You tell me,
Tell
man.
me.
You
What
tell
did the
me.
Prophet ﷺ do when he saw a stick on the floor? Did
So
he throw it in the
instead
bin,
of you now telling her, go pick up your rubbish, you're gonna fine her.
What do you-
You think that's a better
What
thing
do
to
you
do?
think I was going to do?
You think that's a
Why
better
did
thing
you
to
butt
do?
in? What do you think I was going to do?
Oh, what were you gonna do then?
I
What
don't
were you
need to
gonna
tell
do?
you.
I mean, this is ultimately part and parcel of destroying Western nations. And many Masons are involved in this, many of them, because they've been told, hey, you need to be, don't worry, we've got you covered over here. And maybe they've read Atlas Shrugged and think they're part of this, wherever they're going, blah, blah, blah. I'm not entirely convinced, though. No, after all, why would you have around fellow socio and psychopathic people, in some respects in that occult elite, but anyway, But, look, there's an awful lot of Masons, an awful lot of humanists, New Agers, Theosophists, whatever you want to say, and many of them are interconnected in various aspects of various occult religions. But ultimately, frontline is, in many instances, people that absolutely despise native Brits. I'm not saying the guy talking here is a native Brit, but bear with me.
What I was going to do? I mean, my noise off. What do you mean? Don't butt in my business.
Listen, you know what you're doing, Abs. You know what you're doing.
Don't call me act, fam.
You know what you're doing.
You're trying to mess with our money.
I'm not messing with your...
You're trying to mess with our money, which goes back to why. And if any of you have got this far, thank you, seriously. That's why I had to read that, because then you start realising what this means. Why are you messing with our money? They're incentivized to go above and beyond their X amount, whatever it is, they're obligated by the company to go for, or, to get at least one a day. One an hour, of which apparently works out at 1,200 quid. So I'm guessing, are they doing 12-hour shifts? I don't know. Or maybe, look, maybe the Daily Mail got certain aspects of that wrong.
Something right now. Come to the alleyway right now. We'll show you what time it is on.
Seriously. It's nothing about right and wrong. It's about the goal justifies the means while masquerading as the righteous. And don't interfere with us. Putting the fear of God in other people and financial misery based on... I mean, just imagine it. I've done it myself. You've probably done it yourself. In fact, I guarantee. You're walking along, you've got your gob open because for whatever reason, and a bug's gone in there. A fly. You're like... First thing you want to do. I'm sorry, but I would argue that's unenforceable, but, but most people comply. I wouldn't be giving them names, I wouldn't be giving them jack shit. And in some respects, depending on the scenario, it'd probably be smarter if you just went, I tell you, man, what? But walk away. But look at that thuggery. You could say, well, look, how can you walk away when you've got these guys?
We're going to show you what time it is, bro. We're going to make sure you can't work no more and earn no money because you're trying to...
Look at that. Look at that, Lynn. Honestly, with a wee, with a left eye there.
I'm going to show you what time it is, bro. We're going to make sure you can't work no more and earn no money because you're
see?
butting with our money. And, bro, do you know what I did?
Again? What is it? I mean, who is this? With this... Look, make asylums, lunatic asylums great again. You know what I mean? That guy's obviously not playing with a full deck. I would argue he's a fucking risk to life and limb. Especially what he's coming out when the behaviour of this guy. How the fuck are they not arrested yet?
More and earn no money because you're trying to butt in with our money.
Seriously, honestly, who is this guy?
And bro, do you know what I do to people like that? Come here now, come and stop. Why would I come there? Why would I come there?
Seriously. You could make this look. This is probably one of my longer vids. Don't you doubt about it. And believe me, I've had a couple of attempts and I was getting to the point like, look, fuck it, just do it. Seriously, how the fuck are these people not arrested? Look, we've got to stop being so apathetic, right? All these people paying council tax, all the rest of it, etc., etc. Start expecting. Go in there, always be polite, but don't be putting up with any of this fucking shite. And all this third-party organisations, that's got to stop. And start explaining and rationalising why any of these tossers are there in the first place. I'm talking about I'm an inspector for litter picking or spitting or whatever the hell, dropping. How about just getting civilization back to being polite with each other? Not 1,001 excuses. Why is the courts littered with fuckwits based around, they've had an assessment about, they suffer from these, whatever pish they're being told. Look, it used to just be about right and wrong. Now it's a business more by the day of lunacy and insanity. Seriously. And yet when apparently at some stage they find another clip, but this time it's refugees, Afghan refugees. And it's not one, they go from two confident, thugs dealing with one individual to, they're surrounded.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Yes, you wanna go back. Yeah. No, you said let's go to the park. Yeah, brother, sorry. You wanna go? We leave you. Right now, the guy's touched me, 3 times. No, he doesn't touch you. No.
Have you seen how his energy's so?
Yeah, look, I'll leave you a clip to this guy. What's his name? Jermaine Unfiltered. I think I've possibly come across a couple of these vids in the past, but, let's face it, there's so many people out there. But anyway, fair play to him. I'll leave you a link to that as well. This may sound like a babble. Some people could say, yeah, honestly, Scott, yeah, it does. It sounds like a babble. But you're acutely aware. You can say anything, quite innocent words, and apparently it's hurting. And no trial, no jury, no fuck all. Oh, let's give you a duty solicitor, and the next thing you're off for a couple of years or more because you're concerned. I'm not fucking saying anything about what we need to do and just get out there and, I'm not saying any of that fucking garbage. I'm one of the people that is like, they want civil war. And I would argue, if you go down that line, we're fucked. Because they've already got the UN troops in place. They really do. The media's bought and paid for. And most people are blissfully unaware to what is going on. It can get hell of a lot worse than what we're seeing out there. Absolutely. And all I'm trying to say, and I think I've said it in this vid, look, let's go back to common sense. Let's start questioning councils where are ultimately corporations and their third-party Masonic pals. I dropped in a bit of lettuce or a leaf. You're feeding a pigeon, a bird that is literally picking it up. A coffee down the bloody drain. Sorry. Enough.